Well, hello there and welcome to Grounded Kids Assembly. As you know, we're in our series all about emotions. Week 1 we talked about what emotions are, why God gave us emotions, and how we can check in with ourselves to see how we're feeling. Week 2 we talked about being emotions detectives and trying to see how others are feeling by the way that their face looks, their body language, or the words that they say, and even their tone of voice. One of you took the challenge of being an emotions detective to the next level and drew some great cartoon pictures about what people look like when they're expressing different emotions. That's Reagan's show in 6th grade in Mrs. Richards' class. I want to show you some of the pictures that she drew. Take a look at these. Peaceful, happiness, anxiety, confidence, anger, sadness. Now you might be wondering, now that you know how you're feeling, what happens when you have really big feelings? Anger, sadness, fear, worry. What do you do about these feelings? Today, we're going to be exploring what to do when you have big feelings and how to calm those big feelings down so they don't get you into trouble. But first, let's do our opening, brought to us by some 2nd graders from Miss Ops' class.
Please put your hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I am a peace bearer. I will pledge to brave people, to give up put-downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak about hurts I have caused, to right wrong, to help others. I will be a peace bearer at home, at school, and in my community each day. Please bow your heads for prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you that we have a wonderful time with you. Please help us be safe and grow healthy and strong. In Jesus' name, amen. Please join me on singing the school song. Sing our happy school days, your friends that for true. When we dream together in the early days of youth. Oh, Linda, our academy, we have pledged our honor to. We will honor college glory, and will always remember you. Our united and study day by day, where knowledge forms character in GKA. Let us strive for victory, there much that we can do. We will have our fortitude and the care for service true. Oh, Linda, love and peace. We have pledged our honor to. We will fly our colors glory, and will always remember you. Our and united, and study day by day, where knowledge forms character in the ULLA.
Now, just an announcement, in 2 weeks we're going to be having Week of Prayer. That's a week that we have chapel every single day of the week, so we'll be having a lot of fun together and learning more about Jesus. During this week, I need some kids that are willing to sing for our praise team, to share songs. If you're interested in recording a song and sharing it for Week of Prayer, it's something that you can do at home. Talk to your parents about it, have them email me at ckoh@lla.org. I can give them all the details. But basically, you can sing any Christian song, especially a song that has action, since a lot of our kids can't be singing in our school campus. So pick an action song, sing it for us, and record it. Your parents can email it to me, and I'd love to include it in our Week of Prayer in 2 weeks. So I would need all those videos by next week around Wednesday or Thursday. Now's the time that we get to celebrate some of you for applying our school core values. Today, all of our grounded notes are for integrity, for doing the right thing by returning lost things that were found. In our lower grades, we have someone from Mrs. Della Roca's class showing integrity by finding a lost water bottle on the playground, Chris Espinal. From Miss Ops' class, we have this person who found a girl's hair bow and returned it, Melanie Ross. From 3rd grade, from Mrs. Katz's class, this person was showing integrity by finding a LLA blue sweater and returning it to the office. Zeta Moreno. From 6th grade, we have someone who found stickers and a black headband on the playground and returned it. From Mrs. Gowen's class, Kaylee Berger. And from Mrs. Guzman's class, for finding hand sanitizer outside and returning that to the office too, Kiriana Williber. Congratulations, and thanks for applying our school core values here on campus. Now let's review them together. First, we have emotional intelligence, the power to see, understand, and impact feelings. Next, we have respect, the power to treat yourself and others like God's children. Third, we have integrity, the power to do the right thing at all times. And finally, grit, the power to never give up on your goal, even when it's tough. Today, we're going to be focusing more on emotional intelligence as we talk about what to do with our big feelings. The first question you might be wondering is, why do we even have big emotions? Like sadness, anger, fear. They don't make you feel really good inside. It's not like when you feel peaceful inside. Why did God even make us with these emotions? Well, God gave us these emotions for a very important reason. To move us to action. To take action. When we have big feelings, it's usually because we have a threat and our body is trying to figure out what can we do really quick to make something happen, to protect ourselves, to get ourselves out of a bad situation, to be able to solve a problem. Imagine with me, you walked into your garage, you opened up a box full of toys, and you reached in to grab something, and you saw this. Probably even seeing a video of it on a screen made you feel scared, right? You might have felt your stomach kind of clenching up and feeling tight. You might have felt your face getting flushed or really warm. You might have felt your eyes get really big, or maybe you shut your eyes really quickly because you didn't want to see it. These are all feelings that are big feelings of fear. Now, why do you have this kind of fear? It doesn't make you feel good, but the reason that we have it is because your body is being moved to act, to do something, to take some action to keep yourself safe. Why do we have these feelings? Well, if you saw this guy, and you were still feeling happy and calm and peaceful, you might stay around long enough to get bitten by him. But since you have this big emotion called fear, it helps your body to take action right away, to either run away as fast as you can, to scream, to grab a stick to protect yourself, to do something to protect you from a really dangerous situation. And it's the same thing for all big emotions. For example, anger. If someone's trying to steal something from you, if someone's trying to do something that's mean to you, your body will have this feeling of anger, this big feeling that will come up. And the reason is because you need to get yourself out of that situation, or you need to solve the problem, and your body's moving you to take action. If you feel sad, that's another type of big feeling, or even worried or scared. That's because something's happening in your life that you're uncomfortable with. It's making you feel uncomfortable, sad, maybe you've lost something that you really appreciate or someone that you really appreciate and that you love. And your body's moving you to act, to ask for help, to be able to seek some solution to the feelings that you have so you can regain your calm and your peace and your happiness in life. Now, we're going to be brain scientists just like this. Got my safety goggles, lab coat. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the brain and what happens in our brains when we are experiencing big emotions. And to do this, I'm going to need the help of my super duper brain of science. Look, it's a skull. It's not a real skull. That'd be gross. But in this fake skull, you'll see there is a brain. And this is what we have inside of all of our heads as well. We have this brain that's inside of our skull, and there's different parts to our brain that help us to do different things and to think different thoughts and to feel different feelings. The first part of our brain that helps us with emotions is called the amygdala. Can you say amygdala? Amygdala! Can you say that 10 times fast? Amygdala. I can't say it 10 times fast, sorry. The amygdala is in the center of our brain, right down here. Can you give your amygdala a scratch? Of course you can't, it's in your skull, but you get the idea. The amygdala is the part of our brain that's focused all on emotions. When we have a threat or something that's scary or makes us angry or sad that comes into our mind, it goes directly to our amygdala, and that amygdala produces some chemical neurotransmitters. Can you say neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters are like a liquid text message that's sent to your brain when you see something that's really scary, or something that's really sad, or something that's really angering. Is that a word? Angering? Something that makes you really mad. When you have that neurotransmitter, it immediately starts changing things in your body to give you the ability to act really quickly, to solve whatever problem's in front of you, to keep you safe.
It works so quickly that you don't even have time to think about it. Our heart starts beating faster. Our blood pressure rises.
We start breathing faster. Our blood flows through our arms, through our legs. into our faces, so we might get flushed and red in our face. We're ready to move, we're ready to run, we're ready to act. And with all that blood flowing to the outside of your body, it doesn't go to your brain as much, so you can't think as well, you can't think as clearly, you can't concentrate as much, and your memory is not going to be as good for whatever happens next. And that's okay, because like we said, if you're seeing this guy, you don't want to sit there and start thinking about everything.
I wonder if it's a friendly snake. I wonder if I could keep him as a pet. I wonder if I should just touch around it and get the toys that are around it, and maybe it won't bother me.
No, you don't want to be thinking about that. You want to act right away. So those neurotransmitters go so quickly and they work so fast in your body to make all the changes happen for you to act really quickly. And that's a great thing. God gave us big feelings to respond to big problems in our lives. But this can also be a problem. What if you don't have a really big problem, but your body gets all revved up and ready, sending out that neurotransmitter into your bloodstream to get yourself ready for action? Sometimes that could lead you to do some things before you think about it that you might regret later. Some things that might hurt yourself, or might hurt other people as well, or might get yourself into trouble. Another way that this can be bad for your health is if you have these big feelings for a long time and you can't get rid of them. Maybe you're really sad for a long time and you can't calm yourself back down. Or you're really angry for days and days and weeks. Or maybe you're even feeling worried for a long time. When you're having big feelings for a long time, it can actually make it so that it's hard for you to concentrate in school, it's hard for you to remember things, it's hard for you to focus on your friendships and your relationships even at home. You might become irritable and annoyed easily and get angry really easily. Parts of your brain can actually shrink or grow in ways that aren't actually helpful for your brain. Other times, our big feelings can cause us to do things that we might regret later. Maybe you get annoyed easily, or you get really upset about something that's not really that big of a deal, and you start yelling about it. Maybe you hit somebody. Maybe you push somebody because you're really upset about it. Maybe you say something that's not very nice, even though you don't really mean it, because you're just so upset at the moment. That can really cause problems for friendships and really get you into trouble. And the worst part is it doesn't really even solve the problem, it just makes things worse. Finally, if we don't know how to calm our big emotions down, sometimes we can lead our bodies to make really poor choices. Now, today is actually the beginning of Red Ribbon Week, which is a whole week in our country that we celebrate making healthy choices for our bodies, especially deciding not to ever smoke or do drugs or drink alcohol. And sometimes when people don't know how to deal with their emotions, their big feelings, they start doing things that aren't really smart for their body, like drugs, or drinking alcohol, or smoking cigarettes, because that's a way for them to get their mind off of the feelings that they have because they don't know what to do to calm those big feelings. Next week, you'll be seeing some red ribbons all around campus to remind you about this message, and each of you will be getting a Red Ribbon Week pencil to remind yourself to make healthy choices to calm your big emotions down before they cause you to do things that would not be wise or healthy for your body. As you can see, we have our big emotions for a reason, and they're good to help us through certain situations. But like Pastor Tara said on week 1, we don't let our big emotions drive the bus, because that's where problems can happen. But the great news is that God has given us another part of our brain that can help us to counteract some of the bad things that can happen if we have really big emotions. Back to our skull. Pull out the brain, just broke off some pieces. And right here in the front of our brains, it's called the prefrontal cortex. Can you say prefrontal cortex? Give your prefrontal cortex a nice massage. That's not your prefrontal cortex, that's your skull. But inside your skull, right here in the front, in your forehead, is your prefrontal cortex. That part of your brain helps you to make wise choices, to think about things, to explore different options, to try to solve problems that are really difficult. That's the part of the brain that can help you when you have big emotions. But the problem is that when we have big feelings, our amygdalas get the message first. If you look at these two kids, there's the amygdala, and then we have the prefrontal cortex. Now, when amygdala gets the text message, she gets all worked up. She sends out her neurotransmitters and she's ready for action. Our bodies work so quickly that way that our prefrontal cortex doesn't even have time to think about our choices to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So what we need to do is give our prefrontal cortex time to respond. We need to
slow ourselves down.
Like this. And by slowing ourselves down, our prefrontal cortex has time to get the message, get up, and stop ourselves from doing things that we might regret later. But how do we slow our brains down so that our prefrontal cortex can have time to take the lead? Well, even before you knew all about this brainy stuff, you've probably learned some strategies that have helped you to calm down big feelings. So Loma Linda Academy Elementary School, what do you do when you have big feelings? Let's find out a little bit more from our Emotions News reporter out in the field.
Hi, I'm Daisy Tamayo, and I'm a reporter for Emotions News. Today, we're talking to viewers like you to see what you do when you have big feelings. I don't mean little things like someone's annoying you when you're taking the test. I mean like big feelings that make you want to run out the door.
Even a possum has big feelings.
Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me!
I'd go in my room and draw or play on my iPad. If I'm at school, I go to a different place. If I'm at home, I get a hug. I play with my dogs or my cats.
When I'm upset, I like to go by myself, be by myself.
Normally, I talk to my wife or to like my parents or my brother or my friends maybe.
I usually play video games when I feel upset or scared.
I usually count to 10.
I usually take deep breaths. Sometimes I think about it and express my feelings to myself.
I like to share my feelings with others.
I try to take a calm approach to things. Sometimes it doesn't go so well, but I do my best.
First of all,
I like to think of a happy memory.
I like playing a sport or a game like playing fetch with my dog.
When I'm having big feelings, one thing I want to do is to talk about it. And the best person I can talk to is Jesus. When I take my big feelings to Him, He understands them because He walked on this very same earth, and I'm sure He had big feelings too.
There you have it. That's how LA students calm their big feelings. How do you calm your big feelings?
Well, you've heard a lot of suggestions from kids and adults here on campus, but what do you do with your big feelings? Take a minute right now, turn to a neighbor next to you, and pair share. That means that you pair up with each other and talk about what you do when you have big feelings like anger, sadness, or fear. Today I want to give you a few more choices of ways that you can calm down big feelings so that your prefrontal cortex can have time to respond and think in ways that will help you to make wise choices. And I've given each of your teachers a little poster that they can put up in their classroom that's called calming strategies. Calming strategies are things that you can do to slow yourself down, to calm down enough so that you can make a wise choice before you act when you have a big feeling. Some of these include blowing bubbles, deep breaths, listening to music, taking a mindful minute, wall push-ups, drinking water, thinking happy thoughts, drawing, writing about it, using a calm box, or some activities that might be able to help you calm down. And we'll do one of them together. Counting, relaxing for 5, asking for more time, talking about it, or giving yourself a nice self-hug. One strategy that I really like is called the glitter jar. It's a glitter jar. It's just a jar, like a water bottle, that you can fill up with water, with glue, clear glue, and with glitter. I'll be sharing the recipe with your teachers, and if you'd like to do it at home, you can do it, and your teachers, I think, will be making one for your classroom as well. A glitter jar works because you shake it upside down, and all the glitter slowly moves down. Because of the glue, it moves slower than if you just had water in your jar. You wait until all that glitter goes to the very bottom, and once that happens, you flip the jar around again, and you just watch it. It's mesmerizing. You can watch the shiny glitter kind of floating through the water. You can use the time to take deep breaths like this. It's beautiful. It should take a few minutes for the glitter to start settling down to the bottom, and in that time, you're giving your mind, your brain, enough time to calm down to cool down enough and to relax so that you can make a wise choice. Now, all of these strategies are great ways of calming yourself down when you have big feelings so that you can make a wise choice that you won't regret later. Giving your prefrontal cortex that ability to think through and make a wise choice before your amygdala gets the best of you and you lose your head. But what happens if you're having big feelings that last for a long time? A perfect example is during the coronavirus time. From March until now, there have been a lot of changes that have happened in our world. Some of you, because of the coronavirus, may have experienced sadness for months at a time. You were staying at home with just your family members, you were missing your friends, your other relatives, and you may have had a long period of time that you're feeling sad. When your brain has all those neurotransmitters that are flowing through it for a long period of time, that can cause some problems. That can make things not very happy or very peaceful or calm in your life. The same can happen if you're angry for a long time, if you're worried for a long time, if you're feeling anxious for a long time. All of these things are emotions that you may be feeling right now because of the really weird time that we are in our country and in our history because of the coronavirus. If you have those big emotions and they last for a long time, of course you can try any of the strategies that we talked about, but also it's really important for you to talk to someone that you love and care about and who loves and cares about you about those big feelings if they're lasting for longer, and especially if you can't calm them down by using some of the strategies that we talked about. Talk to a parent, talk to a teacher, talk to me, talk to a pastor, talk to somebody that cares about you and someone who's wise and can help you to solve that problem. This week, our grounded challenge is to do the second worksheet in your My Emotions booklet. This worksheet is called I Can Calm My Big Feelings. Once again, it has 4 different boxes with different colors on them, and you can choose to cut out 4 different feelings that are big feelings that you might experience. You can color code them with the boxes that are on the paper, but if you have another type of emotion that you want to put down as your big emotion, feel free to do so as well. Choose a big emotion that you have that maybe isn't as pleasant for you, and then finish the sentence, when I feel blank, I can blank. Look at the calming strategies on your teacher's poster, or think back to something that your parents or your teachers have taught you about calming yourself down. And for each of the 4 emotions that you choose that are big feelings, choose at least one way that you can calm that feeling down. Write it down using a sentence or a few words, or even just draw a picture to remind yourself of what you can do to calm down that big emotion. And this week, I challenge you to look at that paper often, and anytime you have a big feeling, refer back to it and remind yourself about what you can do to calm down that big feeling so you can make a wise choice and so that you can bring yourself back to a state of peace and happiness. Teachers are also going to be sending the calming strategies to all of our remote learners so that you can print it out and have it in your home as well. If you can't find your I Can Calm My Big Feelings worksheet, you can always refer back to that calming strategies poster to remind yourself about ways that you can calm down your big feelings. Let's pray. Dear Father in heaven, thank you so much for this message that we can talk about our big feelings. Thank you for giving us big feelings that help us to take action and to make things happen in our lives when we're in threatening or scary situations. But you know, we need to learn how to calm our big feelings down, especially to give our prefrontal cortex time to make wise choices that you would like us to make. Please help each of these students when they're facing big feelings this week to be able to choose one of the calming strategies to calm themselves down so they can make a wise choice and come back to the peace that you would like for their life. In your name we pray, amen. Thanks for joining us again for Grounded Kids Assembly. Next week, we'll finish our 4th and final Grounded Kids Assembly in this series on emotions by talking about what we can do to calm down the big feelings in others. See you then.